Al Levine, the talking machine, with Zach Brenner on the camera right now. And we're doing a Pittsburgh Sportsline exclusive here. We're at Rod Sulka's training camp, where he's going to training for his fight on November 14th at the Consol Energy Center. We're proud to be invited here, and we're honored to be here tonight. Zach's going to do an interview, an exclusive interview with Rod Sulka. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be walking around the property here. You know what? I think I hear crickets here, Zach. This is a great venue. I can't wait to walk around. How about you follow me around and we'll check out. He has an outside boxing ring. Let's go check it out, Zach. Look at this outside boxing ring. The lands and the grounds are well kept. Look at that ring. It's just great to be here. Nice country setting. You can focus just on boxing. Can't wait to see Rod inside.
Hello, folks. Welcome to a special edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. We're out here at Buzz Garnick's gym with Lightning Rod Sulka. Say hello to your fans, Rod.
How's everybody doing?
Well, let's get right into it, folks. The last time we saw Rod was August 9th in Brooklyn, New York on Showtime. And how you feeling since then, Rod?
Good, man. We're right back at it. You know what I mean? Just pretty much got right back in the gym, running and everything. You know, keeping the weight down, trying to keep the weight down to where it should be. Eating the right foods out here and everything. And then about 2 weeks ago, we started back into camp, back to sparring, doing everything, getting ready for this fight on November 14th.
Now, on November 14th, Lightning Rod Sulka is going to get in the ring down at the Consol Energy Center against a familiar foe, Rankins' own Monty Meza Clay. What are your thoughts on this fight going into it?
You know, it's I had a tough fight my last fight. You know, I didn't fight a good fight. I didn't fight the fight I should have fought at all. But I mean, it was on a big stage. It was a big fight. So this fight coming back to Pittsburgh, I think, is a great fight for me to, get back in there and get back to where I'm supposed to be and get back on these big fights on Showtime again, back with Golden Boy next year.
So this fight against Monty is pretty much it's going to be a tune-up fight for whatever Golden Boy has in store. Was that a 3-fight deal that you signed with Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya's promotion company?
No, it was a 2-year, 5-fight agreement with them. You know, and in one of the fights they let me fight in April on Mike Tyson's show, and then they let me go ahead and fight this fight again on another Mike Tyson show.
So we got Iron Mike Promotions bringing this fight back in on November 14th. What should the people at home look for boxing-wise in this fight? You know, Monty's more of a puncher, a slugger per se. You're more of a boxer, like a purist. What matchup-wise, what should people look forward to in this?
Styles make fights. I think stylistically for me, this fight's a good fight. You know, he's a smaller guy. He's going to come forward. He's going to throw a lot of punches. I throw a lot of punches. I move around. I box. I think it's a great fight. It'll let me let my hands go and move and show what I can do, and just handle our business on November 14th.
Against Garcia on August 9th, is there anything that you came away from as a fighter, learning from that experience on Showtime?
Yeah, man. Like all that hype and all that lead up and all the negativity surrounding that fight, like kind of, you can't, hindsight's 2020, so you can look back and kind of see it now. But it had me like mad. I didn't really feel like it. It didn't really bother me at the time. But then in the fight, I'm thinking I want to be impressive. You know what I mean? So like the first round I come out, I boxed. I just feeling each other out. And at the end of the first round, I felt like the guy didn't really hit that hard. He hit me with a couple of little shots in the first round, and he was throwing wide shots. I got cocky, and in the second round, I tried to sit in front of him and work on counters. But the thing that's what he does, though. You know what I mean? You try to counter him, he punches with you. His distance is good. That's playing right into his hands. So essentially, I end up, fighting a bad fight and playing right into
Would
his
you say Danny Garcia hits the hardest of any fighter you've ever been in the ring with? And if not, who does hit the hardest?
I don't know. Like, he was hitting my gloves and he hit me in the first round, and I didn't feel anything any different than anybody else was hitting me. You know what I mean? It really didn't feel any different. The difference, I think, between him and what makes him exceptional or an elite fighter with that is that he catches you with shots you don't see coming. You know what I mean? And those are the shots that hurt you because he's punching with you. He punches kind of wide, and he's never looking at what he's punching at. So when he's throwing a left hook at you this way, he's looking the complete other way. Or when he throws a right hand, he's looking down at the ground while he's throwing a left hook. So he kind of throws you off. It's something just different that you don't see. And you can see him doing it, and I knew that he did that, but I let myself, get out of the game plan and get away from the game plan and fight his fight. And, that's why he's where he's at, though. He does that to the best guys in the world. So, all I can do is learn from it, make sure it doesn't happen again.
So going into another marquee fight or matchup such as the one against Garcia, you won't, give in to the way the media kind of fed into that you shouldn't even have been in the ring against Danny Garcia, and you're pretty much on the defensive the whole camp leading up to the fight, pretty much, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, I got why people thought I didn't deserve the fight, but to say I didn't belong in there, I mean, everybody's gonna have their own opinion on stuff, but as far as me getting the fight and the rankings and all that stuff go, I mean, the rankings, people use the rankings in that situation to say I didn't belong in there, but then the next week they're saying, how's this guy in the rankings? The rankings are garbage. So you can't have it both ways. You can't condemn the rankings and then use the rankings as your defense the next week. So, but it's boxing, man. People are going to talk and people are going to hate and they're going to be negative and, there's nothing you can do about it. That's their opinion, and all I can do is have my opinion and move on.
Did you feel comfortable with that weight?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't uncomfortable. It's not. I mean, I'm that weight right now. You know what I mean? I'm on. I'd be on weight for that fight right now. So, I mean, obviously he was the bigger guy, but that was no surprise. We knew that didn't play into the game plan for that fight. So, I'll be back down to 35. Really, I've told Golden Boy and stuff I could make 130. It's not that big. It's not that big of a deal for me to make 130.
What would you prefer to be at 135? Obviously, is that where you feel like you have the best and most power?
It doesn't. It really doesn't matter if they called me for a big fight at 130, I'd be 130. If they call me for a big fight at 35, I'd be at 35. If they call me for a big fight at 147 and they're paying me, I'll be at 147. If they say, hey, you're fighting Andre Ward at 175, I'll be at 175. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter as long as the contract has a big number on it. It doesn't matter like any fighter. It's not gonna matter what the weight class is. It's prize fighting. You want to get paid. You want to get paid as well as you can for whatever you're gonna do, the risk you're gonna take, and there's a risk versus reward there, and it's got to match up.
Obviously, the number one question that I have is how does it feel to go from fighting in court time in Elizabeth, PA, essentially in the backyard where you grew up, to fighting at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, on basically the biggest stage that you've ever fought on, probably?
I mean, yeah, it's huge, and the nice thing about all that is I was the one doing the shows at court time. So you go from doing everything yourself to try to get to a point, and then you sign with a major promoter, and if it felt good because you always have people putting you down and putting everybody down all the time. So like that's something nobody can ever take. Like nobody else from here has ever been signed with a major promoter like that, like Golden Boy. You know what I mean, or anything like that. Michael Moore, I mean, was a big fighter and stuff, but for the most part, they weren't. Like Paul Spatafor was a world champion, did a lot of great things, but he was signed with a local promoter too. You know what I mean? But that was a different time, different era. So I got to do that, and then I get to fight with Garcia. So now I'm on the biggest stage, fighting a pound for pound best, a unified world champion. Nobody's ever. I don't know.
He's the 12th ranked pound for pound fighter in the world.
Yeah.
Number 12.
I don't know anybody that's fought anybody that was a unified world champion before. You know what I mean? So that's like another little thing that just makes me feel a little bit of an accomplishment. You know what I mean? That something people can't take away from you.
You had to feel nervous going into August 9th. After all the talk and everything, once it finally was time to walk out to the ring, I mean, there had to be a little bit of, some jitters going on before that,
I'll tell you what, man, it's really not. Like I'll tell you, I was more nervous to fight, let's say, Ryan Velasco. I was more nervous for that fight, or Larea and people like that, because those are fights that I'm doing where I'm not making any money, and I'm supposed to win. And they're guys that they're tricky, and they're, you know what I mean, they're not bad fighters, and it isn't on TV. You're more nervous when the expectations are high. I didn't have anything to be nervous about in the Garcia fight. You know what I mean? I didn't have anything to be nervous about. Like, he was the one that had all the pressure on him, probably. You know what I mean? All I had to do was show up and be me and do what I had to do. You know, there was really no pressure for me in that situation.
I mean, there wasn't pressure per se, but going into that fight there was a lot of buildup, and there was a lot more talk and a lot more like spotlight put on that fight due to the rankings and everything. Like Atlas and all the people that in the build up to that fight were all basically just saying that, you know, this fight should have never been made. This fight shouldn't take place. So I mean, there had to be a little bit of you know, pressure that, you know, hey, I got to go in here with the 12th, you know, ranked in the world pound for pound fighter, and we're gonna fight, and he's nothing to be taken lightly, you know.
I mean, nobody's to be taken lightly, you know, but there really wasn't. Honest to God, I'm being honest with you. I wasn't nervous about the fight at all, not at all. Like, I was excited about it. Like, it was cool. I mean, it's something that, like, it's an experience that not too many people get to have. Like, for the whole camp, I mean, Showtime's up here. Cameras are in your face. People are calling you nonstop. There's interviews. Then the week of the fight, the cameras are there. You pull up to the venue. The cameras are watching you get out of the vehicle, filming you walking in for the TV. You know what I mean? They're in your locker room watching you do it. It's just a cool. It's just exciting. You know, not too many people get to do that, and I get to do it. So, and hopefully I get to do it again. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it was nothing to, like, even when I walked out, there was no time to be nervous, man. Like you said, I was in court time with 2,000 people. Now I'm in the Barclay with 20,000 people, all watching just you. This ain't a basketball team where there's 20 people and everybody's kind of watching different. They're literally watching you. Are the only one walking out there, and everybody's watching you. It was cool. Like, I think I was smiling the whole way to the ring. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we fight every day. I fight all the time. I'm so used to fighting. I'm not nervous about another man fighting another man in the ring and what he might do. You know what I mean? I'm not. That doesn't really get me nervous. You know, like, if anything, maybe you'd be nervous because of the people and stuff like that. But I was more just in awe. Like, wow, this is crazy. They got the big jumbotron. You're on it. Your name's everywhere. My name's on the ring. I walk in the ring. I'm like,
yeah, well, it's definitely a different. Yeah, it's definitely a major step up from court time. But speaking of the court time days, though, a lot of guys that we had on those cards that you put on as the promoter. Speaking of which, doesn't it feel good though to just be able to just fight and not have to go through all the stuff that you used to have to go to when you were putting on one of these local shows?
Dude, there's way more work doing that. Yeah, like, it's crazy how much there is to do, and pretty much doing it all myself as far as the boxing stuff goes, all that kind of stuff. Like, the day of stuff, obviously I couldn't do because I was fighting. But, like, the setup, that, you know, you guys or other people helped with a lot of that. But it was just stressful, and you have people falling out, and I mean, matching fights and dealing with fighters the day of, and the people not being on weight and everything else. Yeah, it's really nice to now be able to just focus and train, and all I have to worry about is the fight on whatever day we're fighting. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's really nice.
What things are you guys doing differently, if at all, at any this camp than you have in previous camps for this fight on November 14th against Monty Clay?
Nothing. I mean, we started a little bit early because I wanted to run, and like, my knees had been, like, I hadn't been able to run for too much, and in this last camp against Garcia, I was able to run a little bit. So I've been able to run, like, do whatever now. So I'm running out here, running the mountains, running 5 miles, 3 miles, 2 miles, whatever, sprints, getting everything in, jumping rope and stuff like crazy. So I'm just excited to prove a point. You know what I mean? Like, I still never got in the rankings. I was in the rankings after I beat Lucero, and then they pulled me out for whatever reason, and I still never got in. I mean, I beat Ricardo Alvarez. He was ranked. I beat Collado. He was ranked. And then I fight Garcia, who's obviously the unified champion. I don't get ranked at all, but Monty Clay's ranked. So we're fighting Monty Clay, and he's ranked. I don't think he beat anybody that was ranked, but, you know, he's ranked now off of that fight. on Fox Sports where he fought the Mexican kid.
What do you say?
We're fighting another top 15 ranked guy again. You know what I mean? So like after this fight, you'd hope that they make a case to put me in there. But I know why they didn't for the last fight, all the politics of it and stuff, because they announced the fight before the rankings came out, and with the backlash from Teddy Atlas and stuff, then the sanctioning bodies didn't want to put me in there. You know what I mean? So after this fight, I think that we'll be able to get in there, and we'll be able to make a big fight happen beginning of next year.
What do you say to some of the critics and even the local fighters, even washed up or retired fighters that are overly critical or say that they may have did more or took it farther, which I may personally dispute, and as far as boxing goes in a career?
Did more, took it further than me, you mean? I mean, I don't know.
Do you pay attention to any of that stuff? I mean, I see, I've seen you go on Twitter a couple of times after, and get back at some of these guys in the media. Well, I'm talking about in the media, but I mean locally. I'm just talking about local fighters that might have something to say, especially since this is such a local fight that's coming up on November 14th.
I don't know any. I mean, maybe they do, and it's tough. Dude, the egos. I mean, guys have egos as it is, and then when you're a fighter, your ego has to be. It's even more because you're getting in there fighting people, so you got to be really confident in yourself. So, yeah, there might have been people around here that had. I don't know how you're going to compare careers. I mean, obviously, Spadafore was world champion. Michael Moore was world champion. So unless you're a world champion, you can't really say you did anything more than either of those two guys. I mean, Michael Moore was 25-0 with 25 knockouts, maybe the greatest light heavyweight of all time. Paul had like 7 title defenses. So I'm not sitting here trying to say anything like that. But everything else into consideration, I'd have to put myself right up under those guys at least. You know what I mean? Like, I fought on major. I fought the best guy in the world at a weight class, really like a catch weight that was, if I'm a 30-pounder, really, 3 weight classes, 2.5 up above, and then I fought 2 guys that were ranked in the top 15 before that and beat them. So, I get past Monty here and beat Monty. That'll be 3 ranked guys.
That'll be won in Texas.
That's what I mean. I'm counting that. I'm not counting that as a loss while we're talking here. I'm saying those 2 guys and then Garcia and then now Monty. So that'll be 4 ranked guys in a row. I don't know if this fight's on TV or not. They advertised it to me like it was originally, but they said it Fox Sports. But I know Golden Boy has that date, so I don't know if it's going to be on TV. I don't know if it's going to be on TV or not. But either way, I'm just looking forward to doing the best I can do in my career. I can't control it. People are going to say, everybody's always in this sport always bashing people, but
it gets to some more than it gets to others, though. Some can just let it roll off, and others really take that stuff to heart. Do you take any of that to heart?
I mean, you know what? Like, I'm not really around it too much up here. Like, I go to the
city. Where are we at?
I go to the city every now and again. Like I have been now for sparring, and those guys are all good guys. Like, does it get to me? Like when the stuff was happening with Garcia, it would get me mad for like maybe like 5 or 10 seconds. Like I'd get like mad, but really, in reality, really it hurts your feelings because you're just trying to do like the best you can do. I mean, that's all you can do. And I work harder than it. There ain't anybody working harder than me up here. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. And I started late, and I did this shit all myself. So nobody can take that away from me. You know what I mean? Nobody signed me when I turned pro. You know what I mean? Nobody was looking to put me on all these shows. I started my own company, was doing my own shows. So if people got mad because I was doing that, then they're not mad at me because they're mad at me because they weren't doing what I was doing. You know what I mean? Or they couldn't do it. Or they didn't want to do it. But you can't be mad at me for that. All I'm doing is trying to put myself in the best position possible, and I've done that up to this point. There's slip-ups. Things happen. I have a couple stupid losses that should have never happened on there. But, it's growing pains. I didn't start boxing until I was 19, almost 20 years old. So like, I'm not worried about it. I think I'm way ahead of the game. I overshot anybody's expectations for me, you know what I mean? And it's not because I was lucky. I mean, luck and opportunity just come from busting your ass.
As a fighter, how do you feel you've progressed since the Spivey fight?
I'm way different. I'm way better.
Levine, why are you calling me during this interview?
It's
what a guy. Oh, okay.
It's I mean, you get better every fight. You know what I mean? And once that stops happening, then you need to look at what you're doing, if you need to keep doing it or not. But I started late, in the game. So, I'm still growing. I'm still getting better even though I'm 31 years old. I'm still really young in the game. I'm still improving, making adjustments every fight. Losses, especially the Spivey fight. Michael Moore was in my corner, and he was giving me great advice. It was a great camp. He was telling me everything right, but my interpretation of what he was telling me, I just didn't do it the right way. Like, I got in there and kind of like started trying to throw hard shots and wasn't loose and wasn't on my toes. And what he wanted me to do was just sit down on shots every now and again. And I did end up catching them and hurting them in the fight, but I let them take the fight off of me. I was in his hometown. You got to outwork guys. You got to do more. You know what I mean? And I didn't do more. I lost a majority decision to him. You know what I mean? And things like that happened. Would that happen today? No, there's no way that would happen today. But, slip-ups like that are going to happen when you're trying to stay ahead of the competition as you're progressing in the sport. And I've been able to do that. You lose the Spivey, then you come back and fight other guys that are comparable and beat them, or better. Fight better guys that are better and beat them since then. You know what I mean? So I've done that every time. Every time I lost to someone at a level, I've come back and beat guys at a higher level after that. And then if I slip up again, I come back and beat guys at a higher level. So if that continues, and I just lost to Danny Garcia, then I should be okay. You know what I mean?
Who, looking forward down the road, not that we do that at Team Soka, look down the road, after Monty on November 14th, who could we expect to possibly to look for you to go after? Figueroa?
I don't know, man. Like you said, I want to make sure I do all the right things and handle this fight on the 14th. Monty is a tough guy, man. He's coming to kill you every fight. I mean, you've seen it with the Mexican, how intense he is and the pressure he puts and the punch output he puts. I mean, he's 36-3. He's won a lot of fights. So you don't want to look past that. But Figueroa, though, is out of the question because he's moving up to 140. I think they already signed a deal for Hank Lundy and Linares. They're supposed to fight for the vacant because they're 1 and 2. They're supposed to fight for the vacant BC title at 35. So, maybe end up with one of those guys or with everybody. There's a lot of stuff happening now, like Top Rank and Golden Boy are doing a lot of stuff looking like they might start playing ball. So even at 130, you got a lot of guys there. Bartholomew, you got Salido, Mikey Garcia's there now. You got a lot of different – there's a lot of options. You know what I mean? There's a lot of options. I just need to come back and not just win but be impressive in this fight on the 14th and make a case for myself, to be in there. I mean – my resume in the last year would be, if I can pull this one off here, it would be good. You have 4 top 15 guys, 3 wins. The only loss is to Garcia. You know what I mean? And that was at a higher weight even. So if I'm down at even 130, I gotta be right in there with the best of them at 130 pounds. You know what I mean? Yeah. So my main focus is going in there and being very impressive on November 14th.
November 14th, Rod Soka continues his boxing career against Monty Meza Clay. Tickets are still available, folks. Anything you want to add or anybody you want to thank?
I thank you guys for coming all the way out here. Just everybody at the camp up here, Buzzes and stuff, like Buzz Garnick, Steve Upshur, Gary Fife and stuff, all the guys that we have here. We got that middleweight up here from Brazil now. He's supposed to be fighting a little bit. Another guy from Argentina coming up to spar with me here the beginning of next week. We're just keeping everything positive, keeping everything upbeat. The work's great. Everything's going great. And everybody come to Console Energy Center on November 14th and check the fight out.
Well, again, I'd like to thank Al Levine, BPTV, Dave Cable, KissingTheCanvas.com, Still Nation Boxing, and obviously, last and not least, Pittsburgh Sportsline. This is Zach Brenner. Have a good night.